Vaughn. What's the word?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, so what I want to know is, are we voting for Kanye?
Bitch, you know what? Girl, that's not even a real question. I knew this is how we were gonna start it.
Yeah, let's
What's
get
going
into
on?
it. Are we voting for Kanye 2020?
That is a big hell no. Coming from everyone in the crowd here. Unfortunately, Mr. West is clearly suffering severely with his mental illness and is unable to. He's in a manic mood right now. Is in a manic state right now, and and it's hard for a lot of us not to make jokes because of how ridiculous some of his performances have been.
I mean, before the rally, right? I was actually thinking, because I'm like, okay, well, we got Trump. He's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not too far, right? Oh, no, but then when he had that rally, and then he went to go talk about Harriet Tubman, though.
To freedom! Never. Yeah.
He's like, wait, yeah, no, Harriet actually just, she didn't free the slaves. She just brought them to the white people. I'm like, well, how do you know? How do you know that?
Beyond, like, why is he get her name out your mouth? Like, speaking of people like whose names need to get out of our mouths is like Megan Thee Stallion, like as well. Like, I think that these kind of issues are kind of not similar, but they're definitely both in pop culture at the moment. But both very serious issues that are being laughed at and being presented as jokes and memes. Unfortunately, Kanye is being seen as a meme, but he is severely bipolar and he's in a manic state, and that should not be a funny thing to us. And Megan Thee Stallion got shot, and she is a Black woman that deserves to be protected, as something we've been speaking about in this segment since Jump. Like, I feel like this is a recurring sentiment we have in this segment, but it's just like these two issues are not things to be joked about, and unfortunately we are, and that might just be like a coping mechanism we have as a society, which is not great, but that's my only, I don't know, excuse for the group for laughing.
Like, I'm not surprised. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it in a sense where it's like, these are two situations that are just, in a sense, like a little bit extreme, especially what Kanye was saying. And then for Meg Thee Stallion, you know, for just how she holds herself and what she raps about, you know, and then for this to happen. I mean, I've heard a story, like she went on live once talking about like her domestic violence history with other exes. So it's like, here we are, like, protecting Kanye in a sense, right? Like, let's pray for Kanye, all this. And then we're over here making fun of Meg, you know what I'm saying? Almost, some people are even, like, blaming it on her, like.
Even though she's the clear victim.
Right, clear victim. Like, she's hurt. And then, like, there's celebrities like 50 Cent who made him, like, a meme of her. What was it, Boys in the Hood meme or something? And Drea, I don't know if y'all even remember who Drea is, but she Chris Brown's formerly ex-girlfriend and on Basketball Wives. She on a podcast said like, "Oh yeah, I want that type of love. Shoot me in the foot. Show me how much you love," like something like that. And I'm like, what?
The podcast with Van Lathan, which is he has a great podcast. What's it called? Higher Learning, that everyone should also listen to, where he talks about that situation. And how he was like very like, bitch, what? Like, girl, what are you saying? Like, you, and it kind of was like, at some point he realized how much of a hole she was digging for herself, that he couldn't like even, it's not his job to pull her out of it, but like, girl, like, stop talking. Like, you just need to stop. And like, yeah, of course Megan's gonna get upset about something like that, someone discussing her life in like such a diminishing way, and like also just kind of glorifying domestic violence, like you're saying, and also like
toxic.
There's no way that Megan's with Tory, so like, why are we saying this is domestic violence? that little 5'2" little man is with the stallion? Nah. I don't believe it. I
You
don't
know what?
believe it.
I was literally just gonna be like, what do you think happened? But I don't even think it even matters what happened. I mean, like,
It could have been a complete accident.
it really could have been.
He could have just been he could have just been an idiot for just having it in the first place, like, and then showing it off, and then something like he just is it that could have just been it.
Exactly.
But we're making this into this big story and changing the whole relationship they've ever had. Like, the most we've seen as a public is them being on live together. Like, they don't be out like that together.
They don't. But I mean, celebrities, they do tend to try to be as private as possible, and I think maybe this was a situation where the privacy just got invaded. I don't know.
I mean, this is like, again, the opposite of the Kanye situation. Megan's trying to be real, like, I don't know, just not telling the story right now. She's keeping it to herself. She's being a little secluded about it. Whereas Kanye's like, yo, my wife Kim is trying to like pull a get out on me. She's getting a doctor to get me. I was like, oh no.
And you know how many of us, including myself, sitting there like, yep, I knew it.
Yeah, but like yes or no. Like, there's so many, like, I do not fuck with Kim. I get it. Like, I do not fuck with that bitch at all. Like, no kudos to her. But the one thing she needs to do is get her man to see a psychologist.
Yeah, well, so she did pop up on Instagram and kind of just explain to everybody the situation. Like, you know, I didn't want to let this loose, but Kanye has severe bipolar, and we all know how that can be serious and whatever. And I mean, like, honestly, we been knew that, but like, I don't know. I don't want to say she's not doing her job, but like, just do better. Just do better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no Kanye 2020 this, so
Yeah.
we're voting no.
Yeah. But what else is in the news that we want to talk about? Oh, Massachusetts.
Yes, this new world order in Boston, right? Where there's going to be this Massachusetts travel form that's going to take in effect August 1st. That's basically just going to keep track of visitors and in-state residents returning home. So like, if there are some people who are exempt, so like if you work for a medical, like in and out state. So basically what they're trying to do is that like, if you are coming from a high risk state and you are a resident or visiting in Boston, then you have to quarantine for 14 days, or within that 72 hours, take a COVID test, or you'll be fined $500 each day that you're in Massachusetts and don't take care of yourself.
I want to know where that money's going. Who's getting it?
And then I'm like, how are they really gonna keep track of that?
There's no way to know who's in a vehicle as they're driving into Boston.
I mean, I appreciate the efforts, right, to keep us safe, because we are Massachusetts, and I don't know, I'm visualizing the map just in that little area where we are, like whoever's next to us, Rhode Island, all that.
Yeah, the New England area.
We're all in like the green, so we're pretty good for now. So I do appreciate the efforts, but it's like, y'all can't keep track of everybody.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, the only way you can really track it is folks that are coming in and out of the airport, which is like the real folks you need to track, to be honest, because those are the dumbasses going to Florida and the dumbasses going to fucking California just because.
I'm about to be one of those dumbasses in November, though.
And when?
November.
Okay, November feels like a little bit further away. People that are like going to Florida now is the issue. Like in August, that's still an issue. Like, but is there like a limit on this ban? Like on this kind of rule? It seems like just starting August 1st and then until indefinite.
I mean, so I haven't read anything about like when it's gonna
stop. Yeah.
It's just the current exempt states are Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont, Maine, Hawaii, New Jersey, and New York.
Hawaii? New York. New York seems
All right, like, are y'all sure about that?
Then what are we calling that, the epicenter?
Right? So I don't know. I mean, maybe up until November. I don't know, man. They're just out here trying to.
I mean, I feel like you'll be all right. I hope you'll be all right in November. I
But
don't
then,
know. I should have asked this apparently.
honestly, it's crazy because the later we are in summer, I keep having to question, like, from going out, the times I have gone out, I keep having to question, like, are we still in quarantine? Like, what's actually happening? Because things are open. Things
Yeah.
are open, baby. I got my toes done a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, like, brunch is up and popping like normal, and I'm just like, so is this, like, you know, people saying that it's a myth and all that, like, you know, I can't help but wonder, you know, like,
I think the terrible talk of people saying it's a myth is just only going to hinder our kids, because schools are now, they're debating if we're going to reopen schools, whether it's going to be remote learning or a hybrid mix or just directly all in class learning, which is just detrimental to our Black and brown children. It will kill them. Just
yeah,
point blank. I know it seems like kids haven't got the virus. So the reason why kids haven't got the virus is because we closed down schools in March 17th and we haven't reopened them. And like, yeah, adults are staying pretty safe and things are opening, but like, it's not normal. Like, as much as we're pretending like it's normal, it's not. Like, we're eating outside, we're very separate. Like, people aren't noticing the differences as much. They're just kind of pretending like everything's cool. Everything's not cool if your server has to wear a face mask and potentially a shield while they're serving you. And everything's not cool if indoor dining means that you have to be in pretty much like a plastic cubicle inside of a restaurant and only take off your mask when you're in that space. Like, everything's not cool when you can't just use public bathrooms all the time. Like, that's my issue all the time, because like the only outings I do now is going outside, like as in going to parks and beaches and things like that. And like, public restrooms aren't just really open like that, because it's not, if those aren't open and we don't feel safe enough to be in those spaces, like, I don't understand why fucking Disney World's open. Like,
Disney World is open. I won't put nobody out there, but, you know, I follow a couple people. You know, I'm not officially back yet. But I have been taking peeks, and people, you know, they got their mask on. They're like, yeah, we're in line for a ride, and I'm like,
if we
dang,
get
okay.
mad close, I feel like you'd be strapped in like, there's just someone mad close to you in every ride. Are they like saying like every other person, like, this roast for me, y'all? I can only get on this Ferris wheel by myself on this side. Like,
I mean, I have seen a lot of stores with hand sanitizer at the beginning, at the front door.
yeah,
Some have gloves, you know. So people are being very conscious.
cautious. Yeah, I think so.
Cautious. There you go.
Yeah,
I would just encourage people to really try and, like, just really try to stay busy so you won't be interested into those, like, brunches. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay busy, like, learn a new recipe, cook at home. Why even go out to brunch? You know what I'm saying? I made a nice little tofu scramble the other
yeah.
day.
I think it's still safe to say like having 3 or 4 friends come over for brunch is probably a lot safer than going to a restaurant with 3 or 4 friends.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, like, I know that not all of us live in places that we love to like maybe cook and entertain in, but like, this is an excuse to try to make your homes into those spaces, and making your homes into your spas and your, like, you know, self-care spaces. Obviously, bitch, I get my acrylics done in a safe way.
Awesome.
Like, I got an appointment tomorrow morning, but like, that's the point. I still stay my ass home. I'm strapped up when I go into the nail salon, but like,
have like barriers and stuff.
yeah, I feel safe there. Like, for one, also at the nail salon I go to, they check everyone's temperature as you're coming in.
Yeah.
Not to say that, like, obviously we know that like temperature is not the only way and the exclusive way and the only, you know, symptom you might have, but it's also just nice to know that they're checking at least one.
At least. But I get it. Just like you said, self-care things, sometimes like things like taking care of your nails, like you just have to do. You'll strap up however you have to strap up just to get it done. And other things like self-care that are options that I have been exploring in myself is a little bit of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've taken well, I'm working on it. It's pretty hard. I mean, I knew yoga was hard, but like when you're focused on a goal to be like yoga certified, I think it's like a little intimidating, but I have joined a 200-hour intensive with Black Yoga Magazine, and they have a good community. It's for Black people. You know, I mean, others are welcomed, but I think the conversations that are held in some of the classes are real to us. And it was started by an individual named Ashley Adams. She lives in Florida, and her handle is Black Yoga Magazine, and they just have a lot of resources to help Black yogis like my future self, you know what I mean, to just really be comfortable in learning these poses. And breathing exercises are hard. I think that's the hardest thing that I found myself like getting into these positions. Like it's hard for me to like breathe and focus and stretch and everything. So like, yeah, get your nails done, exercise, do something new like yoga. I mentioned a recipe, you know, learn how to cook, you know what I'm saying?
I'm doing a juice cleanse. As much as you laughed at me about doing my juice cleanse, I'm doing a one-day juice cleanse. I'm doing a one-day juice cleanse. Bitch, I'm a vegan. Let me live. I don't eat normally.
Do your thing, do your thing.
I'm not trying to have like my collarbones all popping out of my, like, I'm not trying to get that skinty. Like, I feel like a juice cleanse is just nice to start. And, you know, it will get me in the mood to, like, continue the rest of my summer in a very healthy way. And, you know, I still do my yoga. I still do that. I work out, you know, 2-3 times a week, try to get my, you know, I've been trying to run every once in a while, pretending I'm a runner. I got some sneakers to run. I picked out a pair of sneakers to run, bitch. You know how hard that was for me? As a Jordans, bitch. I'm just...
I've seen you
Jordan Retro one
lately. You've been in the Birkenstock.
This is hot. It's hot. It's hot. You know, and I got my toes done, so you know it's different.
Yo, you're out here. I'm due though. I'm due.
Yeah, no, I'm going tomorrow morning.
Everyone needs to take care of themselves, take care of their mental. I mean, that's why I took a break from social media, because it was just so much information that I felt was being thrown at me, and I just kind of appointed myself to want to like share this information just as quick as I'm like
receiving it.
Yeah. And then I just realized like all of the stories like was just really heavy on me, man. Yo, arrest Breonna Taylor's
killers.
They're
murderers, just living and walking on the street, living their goddamn lives. They're still cops.
It's wild to me. I don't even really mess.
Shout out to the WNBA.
I was just about to say, hey.
Because I'm about to be a Connecticut Suns fan. Bitch is gonna get a jersey. Because I'm gonna go to a game when it's open. Because
they walked out when the
shout out to them. I love them. They've always been on the front lines for this shit, and no, everyone ignores them.
I was supposed to call it the Pledge of Allegiance. The national
anthem. Yeah, they walked out of the anthem, and then they started the game by saying like, "We need to say her name." They started the "Say Her Name" campaign, and they said a few women that have been killed through the hands of police brutality and just the failure of the police system.
For real.
But yeah. I think that's it.
Wait, Beyonce.
Oh, bitch.
Disney Plus exclusive. We gotta wrap up with this one.
Yeah. Good news on a happier note.
July 31st.
So I'm getting Disney Plus that morning. I will watch it that evening and directly, you know, cancel my payment for the following month.
Yes. I think Disney's only like.
I'm gonna watch Hamilton too while I'm there. I might as well do it. But like,
yeah, I'm gonna watch Hamilton
without
my family because my cousin and my aunt, they know word for word.
No.
And I'm like, Please, can we
In
get
the
this?
Heights was my shit. That was Lynn's other musical right before. Like that shit was my shit, and I knew way too much of that's music. So I don't want to know any of the lyrics to the Hamilton. I'm not gonna listen to the soundtrack. I refuse. Even if I love it, I'm not downloading that. I refuse to listen.
I'm gonna get into it, the history. I mean, once they actually explained to me like who, I mean, I knew a little bit of who he was, but then once they actually told me the stories and
That's the Drunk History. It's a great one.
crazy. So yeah, Beyonce, she's coming out with a what is it, like a movie, like
Almost a visual album.
Yeah, there we go. Visual album called Black is King. It's kind of a little bit like a Lion King a little bit. But
It's based off of all the music that she made from that album she put out right after The Lion King.
Powerful. I mean, look, if
I'm gonna cry.
we can do a little, we talked about having friends over and do a little Black is King social distancing, little gathering joint. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Shout out for sure. So in the end, wrapping it up, take care of your mental health. Don't laugh at other people's mental health issues. Check yourself. And self-care is key, and self-care includes Beyonce. So get Disney Plus.
Yes.
They don't sponsor us, but I guess we gotta shut that out.
Just for Beyonce, and then
that's for Beyonce. Unless you could get someone's password, we recommend that way more than supporting another capitalist attribute of our society. Yeah. Thank you, Vaughn. Thanks for what's the word. Appreciate you.